Hello, everyone. My name is Harvey Laguerre. I am the host of Men Are the Prize, the podcast. This is the first actual live streaming episode of this podcast, and I was supposed to have a guest today, but he hasn't arrived. And I hope everything's okay. Who knows why he's not here? But I've decided to take this opportunity to do something different. I talk to men a lot on this podcast about stepping out of our shells, about doing something different. And talking to you like this live is something different for me. It's something a little makes me a little bit nervous. I record the podcast and I usually have no problem with that because it's just us talking. Nobody else is watching. But in this case, I'm live and I'm in front of hopefully people who may come in, and maybe nobody will come in and it'll just be me. But I'm going to do something different. First, I'm going to introduce myself. Like I said, my name is Harvey. I'm host of Men of the Prize, the podcast. I created this podcast because I wanted to create a space for men to be open, vulnerable, and emotional. We men walk around this earth holding on to our struggles, our issues, and we don't talk to anybody about them. We keep it all inside. And when we do express it, when it comes out in a toxic fashion. We are better when we express ourselves. We're better when we accept the fact that we have feelings just like anybody else. We are no different. Being stoic is not a great thing for us as men. Being honest with ourselves is the best thing that we can do. So it's okay to be scared of something. It's okay to feel fear. It's okay to be concerned about issues going on. It's okay to feel anything. We are allowed to. And the more that we express our feelings, the more that we talk about what's going on in here, the better off we'll be. So that's why I created the podcast, because we have a lot of issues, whether it's masculinity, whether it's sexuality, whether it's mental health. We need to talk about these things. So I wanted to create a space where men can just come in. And I like hearing the stories, whatever these men are talking about. But for me, the most important thing is that the men are talking. What's most important is that you're feeling comfortable enough to open your mouth and just say whatever is going on, because that's a good start. You need to be comfortable with whomever you are, and everybody should hear it. So that's why this podcast is here. And every time I bring a man on, we get into discussion. And the podcast based is around the word prize. Prize, as you can see on the shirt. 4 of the letters in the word prize represent characteristics that I think are good for men to talk about. The first letter in the word prize is P, and the word is purpose. And purpose is defined. I have it written down here so I can read it. Reason for which something is done or created, or for which something exists. So every man that comes on here, what is your purpose? Why are you here? Are you here to serve? Are you here to raise somebody? Are you here to protect somebody? What is your purpose on this earth? And if you don't know, it's okay. Sometimes it takes a long time for us to discover why we're here. It took me quite a long time. I am 49. And I think in the last year or two, I've discovered what my purpose is. And that's okay, because we're searching. It's a journey. It's this continuous idea of, I don't know what I'm supposed to be, or maybe this is it. And what we also need to consider is that you may have a purpose now, but it may change. It may end up being something else. And there's nothing wrong with that. Life is fluid. Life changes. And you may have had one purpose before, but now you have something new. The most important thing is that you acknowledge it and then you go for it. So that usually ends up being a great conversation starter. Because a lot of times with men, if we know what our purpose is, it makes life easier, because now I know what I need to do. And if I don't know, then I know I'm searching. But a lot of times our purpose comes from how we grew up. In a lot of cases, we men, we may have grown up without dad, without a parent, without a person to talk to. Because you got a lot going on, being a teen, growing up, trying to be a cool kid, whatever. And we may not have a person to have that conversation with. So, being able to talk about that, being able to recognize that our purpose can change, it can be one set thing, it's okay. We need to talk about it. The next letter in the word prize is R. The word is resilience, the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties and toughness. Why are you the man that you are today? What happened to you? I think every man has a situation. We always have something that kind of created us. Something, I mean, maybe not a terrible thing, but something that happened that kind of helped you realize, I'm stronger than I ever thought I was. Maybe before that moment, maybe I didn't think I could handle things, but you know what? I made it. And now I can handle other things in life. I can handle relationships. I can handle a job. I can handle all sorts of things. And sometimes we need to go through some ish to realize that we are the ish. I always skip the I and go to the next letter, and that is Z, and the word is zeal. Enthusiastic devotion. When I speak to men, it's important that we have something for us, something that we get to do for us, not for our partner, our friends, our job, anybody, something for us so that we can stay sane. We tend to take care of others. We're not at the top of our list, but sometimes we need to be on top of our list. We need to take care of us. Self care is important, and you are allowed to take care of yourself, even if it's at the detriment of the people around you, even if for a little while you have to step away so that you can take care of yourself and be better when you come back. It is important that you take care of yourself. The last letter in P.R.I.Z.E is E, and that word is for expectation, a strong belief that something will happen or be the case in the future. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in a month, 3 months, 5 months? Do you have plans? Do you know what you want to do? Are you where you thought you would be when you were in high school, elementary school, growing up? When you were a kid, did you want to be a fireman or a policeman and then that changed? Are you where you want to be? Are you happy with that? You need to acknowledge these things. You need to think about it. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Being able to look at your life, to look at yourself, to look at your situations and think about them allows you to be a better person, to be a better man. Because when you have direction, when you have a plan, when you have a goal, when you have a reason to go forward, we are better. The last thing you want to be is confused and not really know what's going on. And it's okay to not know where you are in life and what you want to do, but you should always be searching. You should always be looking for what my purpose is. What's my goal? Who am I going to be? Am I going to raise people? Am I going to be taking care of people? Am I taking care of myself? It's important to do that. So this is the way that I go through the podcast. I ask some questions, and usually these words lead to great questions, which leads to a whole discussion. And it goes in a different direction with every man that I speak to. So that's what I do. Now, you're probably wondering that I in prize. So the I represents nothing. It represents the man. It's not a word. So I would end it with, hey, when you take away all the shackles, so when you're not a husband, a father, an employee, a best friend, a pastor, anything, when it's just you at your core, who are you? Because we men, we tend to live and we tend to be, we define ourselves by what we do as opposed to who we are. So if I ask you who you are, if you tell me you're a father, that's not who you are. That's what you do. If you're a businessman, that's what you do. Who are you? If I ask myself that question, I think I'm empathetic, I am loving, I'm sarcastic, I think I'm fun, I think I'm a good father, I think I'm a good husband, I'm working on all these things. Those are the things, but at my core, I'm just a man trying to get better every day at everything. Trying to be a better communicator. I'm trying to appreciate the world when I see it. Appreciate the people around me. Appreciate the fact that I'm 49, a Black man, and I'm alive. I am a person who enjoys living, who knows about the struggle, but I will never let the struggle pull me down. I'm a man who does his best to be happy, to be content. I am a man who is just happy to be alive. Every man answers that question differently, and every man should, because every man is different. Because masculinity is different. Every man is a different man. So masculinity is not just this one definition. Every man has his own version of masculinity. Every man has his own mental health issues. And I talk about mental health a lot because for mental health, especially for men, we are attempting suicide at a far higher rate than women. And why? Because we're struggling, because we're keeping all of our issues inside. So I talk about mental health. I talk about men, especially during the holidays when he's away from his family and he has nothing but his thoughts, his questions. Am I a good husband? Am I a good father? We are attempting suicide, I think, every minute of every day. Some man is trying to kill himself. And the reason I know and why this subject is so important is because I was one of those men about 30 years ago. I was a failure out of college. I had no prospects. I didn't think I was worth anything, and I tried. So I know the struggle. So I know being at your lowest and thinking there is no reason for living. And I'm here to tell you that's not the case. There's always a reason to live. Because I think we'll end this with this. This is how I always end the podcast. I remind my listeners, my watchers, that there's always somebody who is waiting to hear from you, waiting to talk to you. Somebody's waiting for maybe a hug from you or a laugh or a bad joke or to debate something with you. You are valued. You are important. Somebody gives a damn about you. So you have to stay with us. You can't leave. You have to show up. This was interesting. I wasn't expecting to do it this way, but hey, I think I'll do more of these. And I don't know if I got anybody to talk, but listen, but I did it. And as a man, you got to step out. You got to do something that's pretty scary. It may lead to something else. It may lead you to your real purpose. It'll just make you stronger. And what's the worst that can happen? For me, it could just be nobody's watching or listening, but I did it. I want you to think about that. I want you to find something that you've always wanted to do. I want you to do it. And I want you to feel the energy when you complete it. It's almost not about what you did, it's about the fact that you did it. And I want to let you know I'm proud of you because I know you're about to do something special. Either way, this was a very short version of Men of the P.R.I.Z.E podcast. And again, to my guest, hope everything is okay with you. And I think I'll try to do more of these, but I am out. Men of the P.R.I.Z.E podcast. Harvey here. If you want to watch or listen to any episodes of this pod, this is season 3. So I've done over 70 episodes. You can go to my website. It is harveylaguerre.com. All my episodes are there. I gave you a nice little sneak peek as to what I do. So if this mantra seems interesting to you, head to my website and watch some episodes. Listen, you can find it on Spotify or Apple, or you can just go to my website and you can watch and listen. Everybody's listening. I'm here. You are a man and you are the prize. Have a good night.